You're listening to Thursday Night Tailgate with Chris Mascaro and Bob Lazari, where NFL legends live on. Back to you, boys.
It's him. He's alive.
Now joining us to help us go through our five-star picks of the week is former Patriots Pro Bowl running back Tony Collins. Hey, Tony, how are you this week?
Hey, Tony.
Doing fantastic. How you doing, Chris and Bob?
Doing well.
Thank you, Tony. So, Tony, looking back at last week, none of us makes up ground again this week because we all finished 4-1. I was the only one to correctly pick the Raiders over the Chiefs, thanks to, 8 or 9 untimed plays at the end of that game before the Raiders finally scored a touchdown that they needed to win it. Yeah. So, whatever it takes, I'll take the win. We all had the Patriots over the Falcons, and the Falcons, Bob, are looking every bit the team that we said they'd be, the Super Bowl hangover. But we all got the Patriots there. We also correctly picked the Steelers over the Bengals. You guys had the Dolphins over the Jets. I had the Jets in that one, and then we all had the Eagles over the Redskins. So everyone goes 4-1 last week. So now for the season, Bob and I remain tied. We're 18-11, and the good news for you, Tony, is you're back to 500. You're 15-15 on the season.
I'm back in business.
Indeed. All right, so let's talk about Week 8. Our first game this week, fellas, is the 4-3 Panthers going to the 2-4 Bucks. Disappointing 2-4 Bucks. The Bucks are a 2-point home favorite. The over/under is 46. So, Tony, I picked the Bucks to be a wild card team this year in the NFC. Can they get back on the path to January? Give me a little help with a win this week.
Man, I don't know, man. I mean, they played well enough to win last week, but I don't know about Carolina. Carolina is just I don't know. I can't understand them. They play well. They actually beat my Patriots, and then they can't beat the easy teams, and so I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. I think Winston is playing some good football right now. I like Tampa Bay's defense. I just don't understand what Carolina's doing. They just don't seem to be clicking right now. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. Close game, 27-24, Tampa Bay.
27-24. All right, Bob, what do you think?
I agree with Tony, Chris. I like Tampa Bay in this game only because they were so highly touted, and it'd be unfathomable to see them go to 2-5. With such a rosy outlook at the beginning. Neither team is playing well right now, and to think that both of them would have been given up more points than they've scored as of this juncture is pretty incredible. But just because Tampa's home and basically this might be their season. I mean, if they fall to 2-5, Chris, what are the playoff chances really? So right. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay like Tony. I'm going to say they win one, close one, 24-21.
All right. And guys, like I say, the Bucks, they've lost 3 in a row by a total of 13 points. So they've been right there in those games. They just can't seem to get over the hump, was sort of what you were alluding to, Tony. And part of the reason why is their defense. They're dead last in the league in sacks with 7. And when you don't get pressure on the opposing quarterback, they're going to pick you apart, which is why the Bucks are 30th in the league against the pass. So the question is, and again with you, Tony, can the Panthers take advantage of that? And people say, Eli Manning, he's the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. And I disagree. I think it's Cam Newton. He has 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions so far this season. He's a 26th-rated passer in the league, better only than Jacoby Brissett, Jay Cutler, Mike Glennon, Brian Hoyer, Oh No, Joe Flacco, and DeShone Kizer. That's the company Cam Newton is in so far this season. And, oh, by the way, he finished last season ranked 30th in passer rating. So, and the only 2 guys that he was better than last year were Brock Osweiler and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Again, tells you where he's at. And that's just sort of who Cam Newton is. And he's also the guy who insulted the entire female gender as a, sports reporter. He asked, sort of shook his head and sort of shrugged a lady off when, she had a question about wide receiver routes. So, that's just who that guy is. And, so I think, a couple of Cam Newton picks, a little bit of Bucks home cooking. I like the Bucks too, fellas. I'm taking Tampa Bay 24-17, so we're all very close on that one. Our second game this week is the 3-4 Chargers going to Tony's 5-2 Patriots. The Patriots are a 7.5-point home favorite, and the over/under is 48.5. Tony, can your boys keep rolling this week?
We're a little banged up on defense right now, but I think they're coming together and playing well. 5-2. Chargers coming all the way from San Diego, coming to New England. It's going to be a little cool up in New England this week. So I think it's going to be a Patriots victory. We're going to go 41-7.
41-7 in the Tony Collins blowout special of the week. Bob, what do you think?
Yeah, I got to give the Chargers credit for winning 3 in a row, guys. I mean, when they were 0-4, I thought, man, this could be as ugly as it gets. So they did put together that win streak. But, when you have to travel cross country and play New England, and New England, again, without Hightower now, I guess for the rest of the season, that's going to be bad. In games that, against teams better than the Chargers, I think they're going to feel that. But, I mean, they still have enough. Chargers just can't score with the Patriots. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, as are a lot of these New England games. I'm going to pick New England 35-27.
35-27. All right. And, guys, remember when the Patriots defense was giving up 30 points a game, we're all, stressed out what's going on with the Patriots defense? Well, over the last 3 weeks, they've given up an average of 13, including only 7 last week to the Falcons. And speaking of defense, the Chargers 5th against the pass, but that may be a misleading stat, fellas, because they're 31st against the run. They're allowing 141 yards a game, rushing. So when you get run all over, teams don't need to pass on you that often. So, if you got Deion Lewis or if you got Mike Gillislee on your fantasy team, start him this week. I think this is going to be, a nice game for Tom Brady because he shouldn't need to do all that much. The Patriots defense, I think they're going to continue on their upward trend. I think the Pats offense is going to be just fine. I think they'll run all over the LA Chargers. So I got the Patriots winning this game 30-20. Our third game, fellas, is my 5-2 Steelers going to the 3-3 Lions. The Steelers are a 2.5-point road favorite. The over/under is 45.5. Tony, can my boys keep it going this week?
I like the Steelers, man. They're playing good ball. The receivers are great. I know they're having some questions with Bryant right now and the locker room stuff or whatever, but I think that's going to be just fine. But I just can't see Detroit beating Pittsburgh right now the way Pittsburgh is playing. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. Let's say 21-7, low-scoring game.
All right. Bob, what do you think?
I'm with Tony. I don't see Detroit being able to. You can score on Detroit, and Le'Veon Bell, guys. It's like his preseason is over, and he's looking very good. And I think the Steelers are on a mission to get all this locker room stuff out of the way and get back to just football. And I think they do it easily this week. I'm going to say they go in there and beat Detroit 30-17.
30-17. All right. And, Bob, to your point, Le'Veon Bell clearly is in form. 3 of the last 4 games, he's had 30-plus carries, and he's averaged 152 yards rushing. So, yeah, I think he's gone through all of his training camp in those first few weeks, and now he's back to form. But this week he's going to face a Lions defense that, oh, by the way, they're ranked 8th against the run. They're only giving up 94 a game, so it's going to be an interesting matchup to see, which line does better, the Steelers' offensive line or the Lions' defensive line. Now, the Lions are 22nd, I should say, against the pass. So this would be a week for Ben Roethlisberger to shine. One thing that the Lions defense won't have to worry about, right, Bob, you and I were talking about this at the top of the show, is Martavis Bryant, because he's inactive this Sunday since he was demoted by the Steelers back down to the scout team. We'll see what Juju Smith-Schuster can do with his expanded role. He's only averaged 3 catches per game. I would expect that to go way up on Sunday night. Steelers defense playing much better. They're 2nd in the league in sacks, 1st against the pass. Their weakness has been stopping the run, but they only allowed 71 yards to the Bengals last week. And, fortunately for Steeler fans, the Lions offense really struggles running the ball. They're only averaging 84 yards a game. So, plus when you look at Matthew Stafford, he's been sacked 23 times this year. That's 2nd most in the league. They are averaging, as an offense, the Lions are 27 a game, but that's because they're very opportunistic. They're a +6 in the giveaway-takeaway ratio. 9 interceptions as a defense this season, 2nd only to Jacksonville and Baltimore. So I think if Ben can keep it in the hands of the Steelers and not the Lions, not throwing any interceptions like the 5 he had a few weeks ago, they should win. And I like my Steelers to win that game 26-16. A couple more games to go here. We've got our next guest, Wendell Davis, hanging on the line. We're going to get to Wendell here in just a moment. Our 4th game this week, fellas, is the 3-3 Cowboys going to the 3-3 Redskins. The Cowboys are a 2-point road favorite, and the over/under is 49.5. Tony, who do you think comes out on top in this one?
Wow, this is a tough one. Cowboys and Redskins is a big rivalry. Man, but the Cowboys looked really good last week. But again, they played against the 49ers. But I mean, I love their quarterback. I love their running back. So I'm gonna have to go with the Cowboys going into Washington with a victory. Close game though. Let's go 33-30. Kick a field goal to win the game. Cowboys win.
All right, Bob. What do you think?
Like Tony said, incredible rivalry, and you look at Elliott as you do Bell, Chris. I mean, it's almost like they're in playing shape now, and they look like they're ready to roll. And I just think that Dallas has too much, even on the road, and so they're going to go in there. I think they're going to put some points up this week. I'm going to say they get 31-24.
All right. And, guys, like I think you both were talking about, I think as long as Ezekiel Elliott is allowed to play, the Cowboys are going to be, the team that we saw last year. They're going to be tough to beat. Redskins are ninth against the run, defensively. They're only giving up 95 yards a game. And if I was Washington, I would certainly load up to stop Zeke and make Dak Prescott beat me. Dak is 18th in passing yards. Des Bryant is their top receiver, but he's 43rd in receiving yards and only has 3 catches over 20 yards. So if I were the Redskins, and that's what I would do. I'd load up the box, not let Zeke beat me, and I'd make Dak do it. I don't think they'll do that. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game 27-17. Our last game is the 3-3 Texans going to the 4-2 Seahawks. The Seahawks are a 5.5-point home favorite. The over/under is 46. Tony, can Deshaun Watson engineer a huge win in Seattle?
I think they can. I think they're going to go up to Seattle and pull off the upset. It's going to be tough though. But I just like Deshaun. I think the kid is just giving Houston a big boost right now, and just playing well, playing great football. Houston's defense is not as well as they used to be, but I just think they can go up to Seattle. It's gonna be tough, man. But I'm gonna go with the upsets. I'm gonna go with Houston, 21-7. No, I'm sorry, 21-17. Houston.
All right, Bob, what do you think?
It's very hard to bet against Seattle at home, guys. I mean, especially as shaky as their offense has appeared at times, they still have given up the least amount of points in football. And I was watching Cam Chancellor last week. He's playing both positions. He's like your extra linebacker playing in defensive back. I mean, he's incredible. And I just don't think Watson is schooled yet enough against a defense like this to solve them. And Seattle they're going to keep pace with the Rams. I think they go and with that crowd in back of them, I'm going to say they win, how about 27-17?
All right. And fellas, I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan now. I love the kid for what he did for the 3 ladies working in their cafeteria following Hurricane Harvey, giving up a game check to help them. I love how he's transformed the Texans' offense. In their last 4 games, they've averaged 39 points per game. He's got 14 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions over that time. Now, unfortunately, their defense is giving up an average of 27 points over those games as well. So, but Watson, and their offense, they're unfortunately, as the points would tell you, forced to win shootouts, and that's never a recipe for long-term success. Seattle is very tough to beat at home. They're 2-0 this season in Seattle. They've won 3 in a row all overall. But they're struggling to run the ball. Now, that used to be the strength of their offense. They're 18th in rushing offense this season, and their defense is 17th against the run, and they're going to be without defensive end Cliff Averill for the rest of the season. He's replaced by 38-year-old Dwight Freeney, who they just signed. But to your point, Bob, they are tops in the league in points allowed, right? They're only giving up 15.7 points per game. So, as much as I want the Texans to win this game, and I'm going to be rooting hard for them, I just don't see it happening. I don't think they go up to Seattle and get this win. I'll take the Seahawks in a close game, 24-17. Tony, before we let you go, remind our listeners about all the great things that you do to help kids get off to college.
TonyCollinsFoundation.com, TonyCollinsSpeaks.com. Go to the website, helping kids go off to college.
There you go. Tony, good luck this week. We look forward to catching up with you and reviewing all of our successes next week. In between now and then, all the best to you and your family, my friend.
You guys have a great one. God bless.
Thank you, Tony.
Take care, Tony. That's former Patriots Pro Bowl running back Tony Collins and our 5-star picks of the week.